So, to me, poverty means not having what you need to thrive. It means being faced with difficult decisions, like adults skipping meals to make sure that their kids can eat. It means deciding between paying the water bill and the power bill this month, because you can't pay both. And it means a lot of burden and careful coordination of every penny just to scrape by. And it often means not getting ahead, no matter how hard you work. My research is focused on education policies and programs that support young children ages 0 to 8, primarily in the US. So we know that young kids who are from lower income families are as much as over a year behind in those critical skills than kids who are at the top of the income distribution. But most of the very large gaps in achievement at the end of high school were actually in place on the first day of kindergarten. We don't do a very good job of catching kids up entirely. Those early years and those gaps really stay locked in, and they really matter. And so if we want economic mobility in this country, if we want to move all young kids to opportunity, no matter what their zip code is, we have to take action to close those early and really consequential gaps. And so the deck is very much stacked against kids who are born into families with low incomes, and it shows up so many ways in their lives. Preschool is a good example. So preschool is one of our most evidence-based levers for closing early opportunity gaps. But kids from families with low incomes have less access to preschools. And some states fund universal preschool programs, but many don't in our country. And even when kids can find a slot, there are often really large gaps in instructional quality between the programs attended by lower income family kids versus those from families with more means. So this early care and education issue affects middle-class families too. Care and education is a public good. It's an investment in our youngest citizens, but we don't treat it that way. We leave too many families scrambling to patch together adequate care while they need to work. It doesn't have to be that way. We could fund a coherent early care and education system as many other countries do, but we haven't made the policy choices to do that. So what we really need is a comprehensive and coherent federal solution to address the problem. States can and are stepping up to do what they can. So the state of Michigan, for example, has a transitional kindergarten program that research from our team shows has lasting benefits for children. Michigan's also expanded its universal pre-K program, though there is room for growth in that program on quality and on teacher compensation. Another of my research partners, the state of Mississippi's Department of Education's Office of Early Childhood Education, has done a big push on preschool quality, including requiring evidence-based curriculum in every pre-K classroom across the state. So we know that when we get the early years right, kids benefit, and these programs can reap lasting benefits into adulthood. The main message is pretty simple. It's that the early years matter and we can do better. We have decades of evidence that show us how we can get all children off to a fairer start. And so what it really takes is, more research to continue to learn what works at large scale. But really what we need to do is put the evidence that we have into action on a national scale. I think voting really matters, right? So vote for candidates who care about evidence-based policymaking and about the early years, particularly for kids who are farther from opportunity.